Okay, we're here today on RealAgriculture.com getting a beef market update from Ann Dunford of the Gateway Livestock Exchange. Good afternoon, Ann.
Hi, Sean.
So, Ann, what is happening right now in the beef market that readers should be concerned about?
Well, of course, we're just entering what I term the summer doldrums. We're in that period where once we get past Father's Day later this month, beef demand, beef movement tends to slow down a bit. I think we've had some pretty strong signals that that will be the same case again here in 2009. Of course, we've been dealing with the economic fallout, the recession, all those things all through the winter, and we've struggled from a demand perspective for quite some time. So prices have been at a negative margin perspective for cattle feeders both in the US and Canada. And of course, here just in the last few weeks, we've had a very strong move in the Canadian dollar. And because our price is set out of the US market, that's had an even more negative impact on Canadian cattle prices. So really a struggle going on right now, and looking forward, we've just come into June, looking forward for the rest of the summer. Looks like we've got a bit of time to get through here before that situation changes.
Has wholesale beef, is barbecue season, they talk about Memorial Day on, has the season been slower than usual?
It most certainly has been slower, and I think there's ample reasons led, like I say, by the economic recession that we've got going on globally, but specifically here in North America. We had, in the U.S., Memorial Day is a key point, a holiday point for beef demand, and it was disappointing. Weather's been an issue. It's been cooler, it's been wetter, kind of everywhere. In a lot of key areas, and that most certainly hasn't augmented well to going out and cooking a steak. The other side of it has been everything that's gone on in the pork sector in regards to wholesale prices there with H1N1, and so there's been a lot of competition of fairly fiercely priced wholesale products on the meat side, and it has put a very solid lid on where beef prices have been able to get to so far.
So how much of an effect did H1N1, we know, like you said, the effect it had on pork. What sort of effect did it have on beef sales in the grocery store then?
Well, it was interesting to watch what was going on. I think there was so much specialing that actually happened on the pork side of the market, and prices fell off much quicker. They've actually rebounded just to a certain degree, as I think a lot of retailers and consumers thought this is a good buy. Let's jump all over it. And so on the, in the shadows, beef, I think to a certain degree got ignored through that period. Prices did come down, but obviously weren't the big deals, if you will, that some of the pork specials were offering. And again, for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm.
So what sort of things are on the horizon here through the summer that, feedlot producers or people in the beef sector should be thinking about? Well,
summer is summer. I think, the table's been set for, we're going to see some losses, unfortunately. Break-evens are above where this market looks like it's going to trade. I think we tend to be in this industry ones that, okay, well, that doesn't look great, so then what's after that? What do we look forward to after that? And I do think once we get through this summer supply of cattle, both here and in the U.S., that we are looking at significant tightening of cattle supplies going forward. Mm-hmm. And we'd like to think forward because it does look like there is some better news out there. Futures markets are suggesting with their premium structure that there's some better pricing ahead. Our unknown from a Canadian perspective is, of course, the Canadian dollar. Who knows there? Are we going to have a setback? Is it going to carry on from here? But it does look like tighter supplies. And that's not just a short-term thing, I think, Sean. We've got both US and Canada significantly downsizing the size of their cow herds. The factories, when they go for a while. It's not like you sell them off today and you put them back in tomorrow. So we've got a supply situation in the horizon that's going to be bullish. We've got to get through the summer market, which still looks like it means some losses for cattle producers in the short run.
Based on that, the cow kill that has been going on both sides of the border, we're facing a real situation here where we are going to see a real tightening of feeder cattle, which should bring up feeder cattle prices, of course. So it's there's a lot of, that's a concern too as we go into the fall run, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what side of the fence you're on. If you're a margin operator, you're right. Even if prices move higher, you're dealing with potentially more narrower margins. You're forced to pay more for the cattle. Are your inputs higher? What happens with grain prices this year? And what happens at the end of the day for fat cattle prices. If you're a grassroots producer and you own the cow herd and you've got that tighter supply of cows and calves, then it does look finally like that corner might be starting to turn for you. So that's how the industry works. Margin operators, when supplies tighten, invariably we pay too much for inventory. But on the cow-calf side, it probably means some better news.
Yeah. So in the very short term here, fat prices, the next 2 weeks, what rate? Where are we looking at?
Yeah, short run start with the U.S. They're trading about 82 cents. They'll probably trade steady there for a week or two. I think they've got one more dip lower to make a low. It's sometime in July, either side of 80 cents. So near the low, but not quite there. Here in Canada, I wish I knew what the Canadian dollar was going to do. It's a huge factor in this forecast over the next few weeks. We're currently trading in the mid 80s, 85, 86, 87 cents. But it looks like that market can hold in the short run. If the U.S. runs into trouble and strengthen the Canadian, we could go lower. The other side is you could argue this is not much under 85 cents is maybe where the market has to go.
Okay. Thanks very much, Ann.
You're very welcome.